Whoa, what's that? This Block Talk News, and I know it been a minute, but I ain't been feeling too good. Anyway, today's video is on Kamala Harris. You might know her as the new presidential candidate, but I know her as O'Billery, the nigga-hating attorney general. This is Kamala Harris, AkA O'Billery. They called her O'Billery because she was black like Obama, three strikes like Bill Clinton, and a female like Hillary, but a nigga hater nonetheless. Don't believe me? Take a look at this article. Throughout her career, Harris has been called the female Obama. In reference to her race, this is lazy and arguably even racist. But the comparison is with reference to her politics, because there's no way that this article is racist. Harris has emulated the Obama approach, delivering a combination of some notable progressive victories and pleasant rhetoric and a steadfast avoidance of structural change, paired in some cases with far from progressive politics. We now hand it over to Block Talk News for a Block Talk breakdown. Thank you, Chuck. Basically, what the fuck that mean is she the person who is about to follow a Obama playbook, which means she gonna talk about all the shit that Martin Luther King did and all that Gandhi type shit, while not actually trying to do a goddamn thing to actually make structural change. Back to you, Chuck. Thank you, Block. The first test of Harris's principles came in 2004 after she was elected as San Francisco's district attorney while promising never to impose capital punishment. Less than 6 months later into her tenure, Harris defied a united chorus of voices from the city's police chief, police rank and file, to Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein, calling for the death penalty for a 21-year-old who had killed an undercover police officer. During the officer's funeral, 2,000 officers gave Feinstein a standing ovation after a speech in which she criticized Harris, who was also at the funeral. The state's attorney general and former Senator Barbara Boxer, whose seat Harris has now taken, looked for ways to circumvent Harris's decision, but ultimately failed. Here's Block Talk Sports again, with a Block Talk breakdown, of course. Thank you, Chuck. Basically, the breakdown of that shit is the police chiefs and so many other organizations had rounded up $1.8 million. So they expected motherfucking Kamala Harris to be a good coon like they paid her to fucking be. You understand what I'm saying? But she still was against it when a 21-year-old had killed the undercover police. So Dianne Feinstein, old decrepit looking ass, put her on blast at a fucking funeral. You understand what I'm saying? But that wasn't headline news, and nobody considered that disrespectful at all, I guess. And then Barbara Boxer, another old decrepit looking motherfucker, had tried to smooth shit over, but the shit ain't worked. Back to you, Chuck. Thank you, Block. We must note that. Thank you, Block. We must also note that not only did she change her stance on the death penalty, but she also would later order parole officers not to enforce residency restrictions against sex offenders. Over her time as DA and later as California Attorney General, she took a number of progressive stances. She opposed the anti-gay Proposition 8, helped defend Obamacare, supported an undocumented immigrant's bid for a law license, sponsored legislation that increased transparency around websites' data collection, opposed California's despicable Shoot the Gays ballot initiative, and filed a brief in Supreme Court encouraging it to allow universities to consider race in admissions. Block, it seems like she's helped a lot of people, just not the blacks. What do you think about this situation, sir? Thank you, Chuck, bro. I think you hit the shit right on the head, to tell you the truth. As you can see, she helped everybody, and that includes fucking pedophiles. In the beginning, look what we see. I'm a Block Talk break it down, even though you ain't asked me to, dog. Look at this shit. She later ordered parole officers not to enforce residency restrictions against sex offenders, for real? But you telling me all these brothers who sell crack or whoever sell drugs, and I ain't saying that it's a good thing, you're doing life in fucking jail on your third strike? And most of the times when you get caught the first time, you're about to do about 2 years and all of this shit. And when you get home, that parole officer gonna harass the shit out of you. Matter of fact, before you even get to your house, you're gonna have to see that parole officer and all type of shit. But these dirty, stinking motherfuckers who touch kids, you telling them, oh man, look, don't be going to them dudes' house, blah, blah, blah. Oh, because you don't want them to see somebody going to that house and somebody be like, man, why the police are there? Oh, I'm on parole. Hey, what you on parole for? Pedophile. I beat the shit out you. You understand what I'm saying? You trying to protect the identity of pedophiles, sound like, huh? But later, like you hit the shit on the head, Chuck. They show us everybody else she helped. Fuck it, who she helped? Proposition 8. Oh, don't fuck with the gays, anti-gay. Then Obama, oh, I gotta help my nigga Obama because I'm already stealing his agenda. You know what I'm doing? Talking around all the black issues because you know how the fucking shit go. What Obama said is not politically feasible to have a goddamn black agenda, Chuck. You dig what I'm saying on that? It's not politically feasible to have a black agenda. So let's go on with who else she helped. Fucking undocumented workers. She got the Mexicans, she got the gays. Look, then she helped the gays some more. Don't shoot the gays initiative, bruh. Man, Chuck, dog, you know I could go in like a motherfucker, bruh, but I'm gonna hand this shit back to you before I get pissed off. Thank you, Block. That was very passionate. As I continue, Harris's commitment to harsh punitive measures wasn't limited to the three strikes law. For all her recent concerns about the incarceration of women and its economic effects as district attorney, she successfully championed a statewide version of anti-truancy law she had put in place in San Francisco that threatened parents who chronically truant children with as much as $2,000 in fines and a year in jail. By October 2012, two mothers were in prison. We are putting parents on notice, she said in her inaugural speech as Attorney General. If you fail in your responsibilities to your kids, we are going to work to make sure you face the full force and consequences of the law. Now, to a segment we like to call Finish It Off, Block. Now, as we finish it off, I like to give y'all the Lawson case. Let's read it. The Lawson case was a travesty of justice from start to finish. In 1999, when two police officers claimed they saw Larson, who had early in his life been convicted for burglary, pull a 6-inch long knife from his waistband and throw it under a car. He was sentenced to 27 years to life under the three strikes law supported by Kamala Harris, the nigga hating senator. Forget for a second that the sentences was unduly harsh for the crime in question. Police had wrongfully targeted Lawson for a search in the first place, and witnesses reported that it wasn't Lawson but the man he was with who had thrown the knife. In trial, Larson's incompetent lawyer, who would later be disbarred, didn't investigate a single witness. Do you fucking copy that bullshit right there? The dude ain't even throw a fucking knife under a car, which got him sentenced to life. But not only that, an incompetent ass lawyer ain't even fucking interview nobody. And he probably wasn't incompetent. That motherfucker was doing what they do to us. Give us one of them old bullshit ass lawyers and tell him, make sure this nigga sink. You better not investigate this. You know how we get down. All of them work together, goddammit. But let's continue on. 11 years later, a judge reversed conviction due to the lack of evidence and incompetence of Larson's attorney. Yet 2 years later, Larson was still in jail. Why? Because Harris, now a vocal opponent of mass incarceration, appealed the judge's decision on the basis that Larson filed his paperwork too late, a technicality. Tens of thousands of people petitioned for Harris to release Larson, and numerous civil rights groups did too, asked for her to do the right thing or whatever. But even when he was eventually released from custody after 14 years, Harris challenged his release, and 5 months later, Larson was back in court fighting to stay out of prison for a crime he didn't commit. Now let's look at that shit, bruh. You telling me the dude had got out of jail after another judge came back and was like, this is a lack of evidence, man. Let this man out. Why the fuck would Harris come right back and say, hey, I'm appealing this because this dude ain't even filed his paperwork on time? Fuck that, we unlawfully arrested a motherfucker for a crime he didn't commit. You dig? for a crime he did not commit, but he filed that paperwork too late. It was 12 o'clock at this time. He should have got it through. That's what Kamala Harris did. The motherfucker who is against mass incarceration now, huh? You see what she do? This what all of them do. Once you get in office, you gonna flip. That's why you can't support Democrats or Republicans. These people don't give a fuck about you. Look at her. She went and doubled back to try to get this one man locked up for a crime he ain't even commit, bruh. Because I guess he's just a career criminal to her, probably. You understand what I'm saying? But let's read it off as I take y'all off on this one, you dig? Let's finish it off. The limits of Harris's approach are likewise evident in her actions on police shootings. She did back a bill that required reports on officer-involved shootings to be posted publicly online and mandated bias training, and that Justice Department agents wear body cameras. But as district attorney, she refused to hand over the names of officers whose testimonies had led to convictions despite the officers' arrest records and history of misconduct, planting shit on niggas and shit like that. Y'all know what that mean. They lied and got niggas locked up by their testimonial lie like a motherfucker lying under oath. She also instituted police body cams statewide and stood against a bill requiring her office to investigate fatal shootings. So her fake ass, once they do kill somebody unlawfully like they always fucking do, she don't want to hear about it. Her and her office and them ain't trying to see no shit like that pop off. We don't want to be investigating no shit like that. That's what she just said, you dig? Members of California's legislative black caucus who are fellow Democrats criticized her over the latter, and did Melina Abdullah, a Black Lives Matter activist. Fuck Black Lives Matter. But at the same time, as I wrap this up, y'all, this motherfucker she was opposed a fucking bill requiring her to investigate the shit, bruh. Like, y'all really think she stand for you? Cause you about to see on BET and all of that old bullshit as they try to do the same old song and dance. You gonna see fake ass Roland Martin. Yo, you got to do it. The Democrats is back. We need you niggas. Man, fuck the Democrats. Don't come out. You think we came out at 88%, for fucking Hillary, and that's still so bad to them, even though white women, really sparked that shit up and got them elected. Don't let these people fucking fool you. Do not go out and vote. Fuck Puff Daddy, whoever tell you go out and vote, you need to look at them with the motherfucking side eye, because they part of the problem. Killer Mike and all of these little idiots, D.L. Hughley, don't let none of them boys lace y'all up with that Democratic savior talk. You understand me? Because that's how you point out a conscious coon, too. You understand? When the motherfuckers be like, the Democrats is the answer. Motherfuckers ain't no answer. Do your research, DL. That's still the party of the white man, dog. You better get that shit under wraps, you dig? But this Block Talk News, I hope y'all enjoy me fucking around, making a little jokes, made a little joke out of this here. But this how you can get to certain people, you understand what I'm saying? Once again, y'all holler at me.